Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
If I had more than one kid, I wouldn't be able to afford childcare.
A lot of parents have concerns over the cost of childcare, and nationally, presidential candidates are trying to find solutions.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Donald Trump is proposing tax deductions for family child care expenses, and he wants rebates for lower-income households.
Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton is pushing for universal preschool for every 4-year-old in America. In addition, Clinton wants to give a raise to child care workers while ensuring that no family pays more than 10% of its income to child care.
Valley News Team's Nicole Johnson spoke with area parents to see what they think is the best solution to the child care problem.
Very expensive. I think it's as much as a lot of people's mortgages.
Caitlin Hoff pays more than $1,500 a month on childcare.
I don't know that there's anything that you can do. It's just part of having kids. People say diapers are expensive, but childcare is by far the most expensive part of having children.
For people that don't have the very high-paying jobs, entry level, you know, and there's people out there like that have kids, it's got to be really tough for them. Really tough.
Research shows childcare is one of the largest expenses for many families across the nation, and some can barely afford it.
Do you think that there's a solution? No.
No.
I honestly don't know what the solution is, because I work on both sides.
Jessica Mortensen is a provider and also pays for her daughter's childcare.
There's shortage, and then people pay outrageous because people are charging outrageous because there is no daycare.
A tax break for parents sounds like a good idea to the people we talked to, saying it might help a little, but there are more problems out there.
I don't think they're getting paid enough as providers. I mean, they do the best they can, and they're all great. I wouldn't say they're all great, but they try to do their best, and personally, I don't think they get paid enough for what they do. They care for our kids.
For parents like Hoff, it may seem like a big bill to pay, but she wants good care for her kids, regardless of the price.
But really, they're with your child almost as much, if not more, than you are, so you have to pay it.
In Fargo, Nicole Johnson, Valley News Live.
Now, we want to hear from you about what you think about the price of child care and what do you think the solutions are. Log on to Valley News Live's Facebook page and join in on the conversation.
The Fargo School District has a spending plan for 2016-2017. Next year's budget was approved tonight. Expenses will climb nearly 4% due to negotiated agreements with staff on increased salaries and benefits. However, property taxes for those living in the school district will increase due to higher property values.
A Fargo man is warning anyone who parks at the Hector International Airport there are no security cameras there. Andrew Johnson learned the hard way after his car was stolen over the weekend.
Oh, I would just hope that they see this and as an example of what could happen and try and prevent in the future. And it would be as simple as having cameras. Just that added bit of security would either prevent something dumb from happening or be able to catch somebody who does it.
Hector International Airport says they don't control the parking lot. That's the responsibility of SP Plus Parking. They released a statement to us saying, in part, they're working with Andrew and the police department to try and remedy this situation. However, they wouldn't comment about their security measures. To read their full statement, click on this story at valleynewslive.com.
A citizen's arrest was made overnight surrounding a scuffle at a downtown bar. 21-year-old Shane Teagland of Shevlin, Minnesota, was arrested. Fargo police say workers at the Empire Tavern refused to serve him because they say he was intoxicated, and they were walking him out of the bar. Police say someone started pushing, which caused 3 people to fall on each other. One employee suffered an injured shoulder, and the other worker injured his leg. Officers say an onlooker stepped in, and in this case, they're okay with that.
Actually, citizens probably have a little bit more leeway to make arrests than law enforcement does. Misdemeanor-wise, we have to witness the offense in order to make the arrest. As a citizen, once you decide you want to make a citizen's arrest and you tell us that you want to make a citizen's arrest, we're obligated to bring that person before the magistrate.
Police say they don't have the numbers on how many times a citizen's arrest has been used, but they say you do have that right under North Dakota law.
Hundreds have gathered in front of the White House to protest the four-state Dakota Access Pipeline as part of a wider day of action.
Washington correspondent Samantha Jo Roth was there and spoke with both protesters and lawmakers about what's next for the $3.7 billion pipeline.
We will not let you build this pipeline. The protests against the Dakota Access Pipeline are continuing to draw international attention. And now, activists are back in D.C.
What this actually means to me is my very livelihood.
For Jaslyn Charger, a member of the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe, it's been an emotional roller coaster. We are the people! With a federal judge rejecting the Standing Rock Sioux's request for a preliminary injunction. Then later Friday, the Army and Department of Justice announcing they would stop pipeline work temporarily.
The Obama administration actually politely asked North Dakota Access to voluntarily halt construction, which means that they can continue construction whenever they want, and they have this morning.
Well, this rally in front of the White House is one of hundreds across the country calling for an end to construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline. The pipeline's company today sending out an internal memo to employees reasserting its support for the pipeline project. The letter offering a spirited defense of the project, saying, "We intend to meet with officials in Washington to understand their position and reiterate our commitment to bring the Dakota Access Pipeline into operation."
We need to get to a solution. We need to resolve this.
Senator Hoeven says he's concerned about the Justice Department stepping into the matter.
It's unprecedented, and if they are going to provide a solution in a timely way that works, that's one thing. But if not, they need to respect the law.
After Friday's event, Senator Heitkamp is also looking for answers.
My reaction was that now we have more unanswered questions that we need to get answers to. And so I think it's incumbent on us to better understand what the tribal concerns are, to understand how the Corps is going to address those tribal concerns, and how we can move forward.
Both Senators Hoeven and Heitkamp are planning to meet with the Army Corps of Engineers. In Washington, Samantha Jo Roth reporting.
Among questions still left unanswered today, how long the government intends its shutdown order to remain in place, and whether the company will comply with a government request to stop construction. That wasn't specifically mentioned in the memo from Energy Transfer Partners.
Here at home, 22 Dakota Access protesters were arrested today. They were among demonstrators who gathered at a construction site this morning near Glen Ullin, North Dakota. That's where two people locked themselves to equipment. Meanwhile, 30 pieces of heavy machinery were removed from a Dakota Access work site in Morton County this morning. Police provided workers security and an escort away from the site. There were no problems. Police say some of the machinery was damaged during protesting. And late this afternoon, North Dakota Governor Jack Dalrymple asked the White House and federal agencies for assistance in maintaining peace and public safety for the duration of the protest activities involving the pipeline.
Stand up or be suspended. That's the motto of a private high school in New Jersey responding to San Francisco 49ers Colin Kaepernick's protest during the anthem. He refuses to stand with most NFL athletes because of what he says is social injustice in the country.
Here in Fargo, Valley News Team's Giovanna Simic spoke with the Shanley High School football team on what athletes should or shouldn't do and be allowed to do.
Whether you're a football fan or not, you've heard about Colin Kaepernick refusing to stand during the national anthem. Some find it offensive, while others agree with his choice.
I think it's the person's choice. My opinion is if he thinks it's going to help better a situation, then I totally understand why he's doing it.
Shanley is a private Catholic school, and according to the athletic director, it is highly encouraged for people to stand during the anthem with their hand over their heart, but it's not a requirement.
I just put my hand over my heart. I just respect the flag, how I've been taught to since I was a little kid.
I reached out to Fargo Public Schools to see what their rules are regarding the anthem. I couldn't speak to anyone on camera, but I got a policy form that states, quote, "No person shall be required to salute, stand, or otherwise participate in this exercise if it is against his or her beliefs."
I respect the flag and I respect our country, and I also respect the fact that people have different opinions just based on their backgrounds and how they're brought up.
The team says they haven't discussed the debate that has sparked nationwide. When it's all said and done, they hope the protests help bring the country closer together.
Hopefully the narrative is about, actual change for the benefit of our entire country. And that'll just bring us stronger together, and eventually, everyone will be putting their hand over their heart for that flag if we recognize that.
In Fargo, Giovanna Simic, Valley News Live.
While private and public schools in Fargo don't make it mandatory for a person to stand during the national anthem, both schools say it is against policy for anyone to disrespect the flag and those participating during the anthem.